Hey guys, I'm extremely excited to record this video. This video is going to be about how to stay organized and how to summarize our year. Right now we are holding in the beginning of a financial year. We're holding up in January. And why is it even important to summarize a year? Who cares? Why should I summarize a year? Those of you that know me long enough, you know I quote a lot Jim Rohn. He says, the number will tell me the whole story. I don't need the whole story, I just need the number. Because if we can evaluate our life in numbers in every area of life, and we could say, oh, in 2022 my number was this, and in 2021 my number was that, you know you're growing, right? You know your numbers increased. For example, in a health area, how much do you exercise? Let's say in 2022 I did 32,000 push-ups, a little bit, almost 33,000 push-ups. How do I know this? Because I count. I know I do 90 push-ups every single day, and then I add up the numbers. I know exactly how many push-ups I did this year. The same thing with pull-ups and squats, and I can compare that to previous years, and I know I'm improving in my health habits, and I'm getting stronger and more energetic every year. In finances, the same thing. I know exactly how much I donated this year compared to last year, how much money I made from my full-time work, from my side businesses, from my investment property, from the stocks, from everything. How do I know this? Because I do the math. Same thing with you can even quantify relationships, right? How do you quantify relationships? How do you quantify happiness? You could find a way. How many dates did you have with your wife? How many dates do you have with your children? Right? Torah, you could definitely quantify. My Rebbe, Rabbi Chaim, he likes to say, Hashem doesn't count pages, Hashem counts hours, right? So obviously you gotta cover ground before ground covers you, right? We need to cover the pages, but if we put enough hours, eventually we're gonna start covering the pages. So I know for myself, in 2022, I was learning at least 80 minutes a day. That was my goal, and I stuck to this goal. If I ever didn't learn enough that day, I would make up the next day or by the end of the week. So I know how many hours I learned this year. How do I know this? Because I counted, right? So you get the point. I think you get the point. You could quantify almost everything. The question is, in this video, we're going to address, practically speaking, how do you stay organized and how do you summarize your year? How do you keep track of everything that's going on in your life? And by the way, there's besides Jim Rohn, there's a Jewish source for that. Right? The mesilat yesharim in chapter 3 is very big on this. He's talking about חשבון הנפש. Says that יאמרו המושלים בואו חשבון. Those that have control over the life. How do they have control over their life? Because they do חשבון, they do calculation. They calculate every area of their life. That's how they control their life. They know exactly where they're standing, and they know where they want to be, and then they can move towards that ideal self. Yes, otherwise the person is like he's walking in darkness. He doesn't know where he's holding. Even if he's wasting time, he should time himself. How many minutes did I waste today? How many minutes did I spend, or hours I spent on YouTube, on Facebook, on other social media, or in front of my screen? If he times himself and he records it long enough, he'll get a picture. He says, oh my god, I'm wasting 17 hours a month on this. It's not worth it. My life is more important than wasting time like that, right? But he can only come to this realization if he keeps track. Okay, I think you get the point. Let's get to tachlis. Let's get to the practical side of it. Okay, so I use few tools. First, and I think the most powerful tool is called Dnevnik Побед. I call it the diary of victories. Right? The diary of victories. I created a WhatsApp group with me and my wife, and then I took my wife out right away, so I'm the only person in that group. I have multiple groups like this. It doesn't have to be your wife, you can add anyone and then take them out. So I'm the only person who has access to this information, and in this diary, this is like a diary. Diary is a very convenient diary because you always have your phone with you, so you can whenever you have an insight, you can record it, right? The key point is here to keep documenting your victories, to keep documenting your accomplishments. And I'll give you a very powerful example in a few seconds. The second tool that I use is a very simple tool. It's a paper notepad. Alright, it costs about $5 in 99-cent store. I'll tell you exactly how I use it also shortly. Another tool that I use is a big calendar where I can see the whole month in front of me. And another tool that I use is another WhatsApp group which has over 100 people. It's called Mishnah and Tanakh. Okay, this group I use to record and post my shiurim, my classes. I post a few times a week. Classes on Mishnah and classes on Tanakh and other topics, parenting, Musar, etc. And the last but not least tool that I use is a spreadsheet. It's a Google Doc where I record my monthly income and my monthly expenses, and that's where I calculate my maaser. Okay, let's dive right into this. Let's go deep. Let's get very specific. Okay, so this diary of victories is such an important tool. I can't stress it enough. Every day that passes by, we should try to find energy and find time to record what personal victories we had that day. And some days you're gonna think it was just a regular day. No, it's not true. If you give up your seat on the bus to an old lady, that's a victory. And say you said no to a cookie or an extra cookie, and you said no, I'm not gonna have it. That was a victory. And my friend, you better document those victories, because those victories are gonna be a source of inspiration and a source of strength for your future. And also, when you read them in the whole year, you're gonna say, wow, I had an amazing year. Let me just give you an example. On April 4th this year, I made a record. I was just reviewing my diary for the whole year yesterday, and I came across this record. I was so happy when I saw it. So we closed, my partner and we closed on our investment property in mid-March, and this record is from April 4th. It says, thank you Hashem, yesterday I had a very productive and successful day. Got up bright and early at 5:55 a.m. Not bad for a Sunday morning, right? Already, you see, I'm recording the things and I'm reading now. I was like very proud of myself. Yes, most people sleep on, not most, a lot of people sleep on Sunday till 9, 10, 11. They party Saturday night. Most of my year, this whole past year, I got up around that time, around 6 o'clock, sometimes earlier, sometimes later, almost every Sunday. Okay, so that Sunday I got up 5:55, made a tea for my wife, learned with my chavruta, learned by myself, and then recorded Mishnah, and prayed at Beijuro. Beijuro is the shul where I'm currently the rabbi. Then said alachot, learned with guys over breakfast. Then everybody left, and I learned by myself. I recorded another class, a parenting class. I did all my push-ups. I did all my squats. I did food shopping. I went home and had lunch with my beautiful family, and then I traveled to Pennsylvania with my business partner and two of my older kids. On the way there, we listened to music, we listened to shiurim, and I got there, examined the property, got a quote for carpet cleaning, met neighbors, brought them gifts, sweets, exchanged numbers with them, spoke to the contractor. Spoke to the contractor's daughter. She was considering selling her house. I was looking into buying her house. Got the paint and other supplies from Lowe's, and then drove back and had a very good conversation with my business partner on the way back. And I only had one meal that day. I started an extreme diet. I have a whole video on that. I started an extreme diet a few weeks before that, one meal a day. So that day I only had one meal. I was sticking to my diet. I went to pray Aravit, evening prayer, at 11:30 p.m. when we were back in Brooklyn. That day I spent about 5 hours in the car going back and forth. And we got at home. It was around 11, drop off the kids, and I went to pray. Even though I was tired, and then I went to 5 different stores to look for oat milk for Yafa, for my wife, because I really wanted to make her happy. Went to sleep around 12:30 a.m. exhausted, but with the feeling of accomplishment. Guys, I'm sure. Oh, it continues. It's been 19 days since closing date, and there was Purim, my birthday, Pidyon HaBen, which was a community event, like a barbecue we had in a shul for a few guys that were never redeemed before. Then they were firstborn. Pidyon HaBen, and I was supposed to have a seminar, right? I was planning to conduct a seminar in those 19 days, and despite everything happening, we are pretty much finished with renovations, and we're on schedule Thank you, Hashem. End of the record. Guys, think about this record, right? I'm not saying this to impress you, but to impress upon you that how important it is to keep records such as this. Whenever you have a good day, an accomplished day, record it, document it, because then it will be a source of your inspiration. You will go back. I totally forgot about this. I forgot about this April 3rd event, right? That I recorded the day later. I forgot about this, but now that I'm reviewing my whole year, it came up this and quite a few other records, which made me very proud of myself. It helped me to believe more in my capabilities, and I know that 2022 was an amazing year, and 2023 is going to be even better. And so we need to inspire ourselves. We really do, because if not, if nobody shows up, who else is going to inspire us, right? Okay. So let's see. Next item. Next tool is the paper notepad. The paper notepad. Again, I wear multiple hats. I'm a father of 4. Thank you, Hashem. I've been blessed with 4 wonderful children. So, and I'm very involved father. I try to be a good dad, and it's a very important role for me. I try to read them bedtime stories. Try to find time to help them with homework at least a few times a year, take them on trips and play with them, etc. Besides that, I have a pretty fulfilling career. I'm a second to CFO in a company, running, managing accounting for a few hundred commercial tenants. I'm a rabbi of a community, so I have to give classes and attend events, and the people call me with their personal questions pretty regularly. And besides that, I manage a vacation rental, and I have my daily routines like exercising and learning Torah. So life is, thank God, is pretty busy, and to stay on top of all those things, not to get lost, I use this notepad. It's only like $5 in the 99-cent store with a rubber band. Let me see here, with a bookmark or 2 bookmarks, and I write here everything I need. I divide it in multiple areas: my business, my personal, community, etc. And I write here daily, almost, and then I rip out the pages and I use it, and I've used it to the point where it's like almost ripping apart. And now 2022 is finished, and I just got a new one. Look, it's a different color, so beautiful. Yeah, $5, 99-cent store, and already, the month just begun. Already wrote up like 6 pages in the new one. So I think this is extremely powerful tool, very simple tool. Just enjoy it, use it. Next one. Okay, next one is a big calendar. What am I talking about? I'm gonna show you guys. This is what I call a big calendar. Okay, this calendar where you could see the whole month in front of you. So at the end of the year, I don't throw away the pages, I just bend them over. And at the end of the year, I review the whole calendar and all the notes. What kind of notes do I write there? First of all the weddings, all the bar mitzvahs, 30 days, 7 days, paminki, the days when the office is closed and open, obviously stuff like this. But also, if there's something, like while I'm working, something comes to my mind that I need to write down, because if I don't, I know I'm gonna forget it. So I write it down, and then I scribble it here, or if I want to know when I have a doctor appointment, or my kids have a dentist appointment, etc. So it gives me, first of all, a whole picture of a month, and also in the end of the year I could see that I had an amazing year. There's a lot of weddings I went to, a lot of bar mitzvahs I went to, and there were times that I wasted time. I write how many minutes I wasted that day, if I did. Hopefully those records are very few, but at least that gives me feedback, gives me a full picture of where I'm standing in life. Okay, next one. Next tool is a Mishnah and Tanakh group. What is this group? This is a WhatsApp group that I started back in 2019 as a memory device. What am I saying? Basically, I used to learn, and I still do, Mishnah and Tanakh almost daily. That's my goal. And I realized that most of the 99% of what I'm learning, I'm not retaining. It's just at some point somebody asked me, "Oh, so what did you learn recently?" I told him the name of the book, and he said, so tell me something. I said, I don't remember anything. And I said, Ephraim, it's not the way to live. If you're spending so much time learning, you gotta remember it. And this is why when I started this group, based on the system of Yitzhak Pintusevich, the system basically saying whatever you're learning, say it over and then share it with the others, and also think about how you can apply it. So saying it over and articulating and recording whatever I learned, and then sharing in that group became my memory device, right? I figure, so if I have to articulate whatever I learned before in a way that is understandable and clear to other people, then I will remember it a lot better. And I did. So I started doing that, and then before I delete those shiurim from the group, I also listened to it to myself. So between this and that, I remember the material a lot better. So why do I use this tool to summarize my year? Is because I go through the whole group in the end of the year, and I summarize how many recordings I made, how many classes I did on Mishnah, how many classes I did on Tanakh, how many Mishnayot, how many chapters of Tanakh. So it gives me data, and I can compare this data to the year before, and I say I'm doing very well, or I'm not doing as good as the year before. Why? And it gives me feedback, and gives me data to work with, and I know where I'm standing, and I know, and also gives me confidence, and it's a source of pride. I know I recorded over, I'll tell you exactly the numbers. Last year I recorded 138 shiurim, audio classes, and I posted in this group. That's a lot of classes. So anyways, next but not least, probably one of the most important tools is a spreadsheet for my monthly income and spending and investments. This is the tool I use to calculate maaser, to calculate my tithes, how much to donate at least. And then also in the end of the year, I summarize everything. I know how much money I made this year from my job, from my wife's job, from my investments, etc. And again, as Jim Rohn likes to say, I don't want the story, I just want the number, because the number will tell me the whole story.